Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject twos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales, working to build your construction team, and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.
Hi there, Roger Pascal here. I'm the CEO of Real Impact Training. Thank you for being here today. So what we do is we're your local trainers. We train in real estate investing. We train in every aspect of real estate investing there is. We are throughout Texas, and we have one location in Oklahoma City. We provide the local investor with networking and local investment information. So all of our franchises, I have no idea what happened there. So all of our franchises are owned by real estate investors, and they have their own ownership of the franchises. I'm sorry, I'm messing up here. So in addition to our monthly meetings that we have at each of our locations, we have workshops. Our IMTs also offer a variety of one-on-one mentoring programs that we can help you no matter where you're at in your real estate business. If you're interested in learning more about our training opportunities, please reach out to one of our Impact Master Trainers. We call them IMTs for short. And if you're looking for a location, you can find us on realimpacttraining.com. That's realimpacttraining.com. Just click on the locations tab in the middle of the screen, and you can look and see what our locations are and what our upcoming meetings are. So one of our primary objectives each of our Sunday night calls is to provide you with an opportunity to ask questions about real estate investing. So you don't have to wait till next week. You don't have to try to research something out. Just click on the chat box. If you're on YouTube, click on the chat box, and that will allow you to put a chat in, I guess. If you do not see a chat box on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and it will open up a chat box for you. So with that, let's get everybody on board tonight, and let's see what we've got. I'm very excited. We're going to be going over our real estate criteria tonight. So Karen Maxwell, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. Pam Clary, how are you doing? All right.
Hello.
Tim Lockhart, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Eric Short, you doing okay?
That's me. So far, so good.
All right. And Doug Toon, how are you doing?
Doing good. How you guys?
I'm all right. So good deal. So we've got a great call tonight. Real estate criteria as a realtor, and we got 3 of us on this panel tonight that are realtors. We get consistent calls from people that think they want to be an investor. They really haven't done anything to set up their criteria or anything on that basis. And we get those calls where, I want to buy investment properties. What are you looking for? A deal. Okay. Where are you looking for it at? Anywhere. What's your price range? Anything. And they don't have anything set up. And it's very frustrating as a realtor to work with that, because we want we want to help. We want to help the investor. We want to make sure we get them the right properties, but we can't in reality send them every house in the world. They're not going to look at it. So tonight we're going to be talking about criteria and some of the things that you need to think about on setting up your criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this over to Karen. If we can go ahead and get the slideshow up. So Karen, you've got it.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much. I do want to remind everyone to please subscribe to our channel here at Real Impact Network, and make sure you hit the bell. If you hit the bell, you're going to get a reminder every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central when we go live. I have some. Okay. Thanks, John. John was messaging me, letting me know he had last week's link. So I was trying to help him get online. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, CJ, can you go to the next slide, please, sir? All right, so what we're talking about tonight is setting up your criteria. So a boss that I used to work for used to say, I have to show them how to do it, because if they don't know what they're trying to achieve, they don't know when they're done. So that's the same thing with this. You've got to have criteria for your goals. So if you're going to buy so many houses, whatever your goal is in your real estate investing business, or if you're going to flip so many houses, you have to know what kind of houses. So you have to be able to identify the criteria of the houses that you want. Like Roger said, no realtor, especially, none of us I don't want someone to call me and say, hey, I'm buying houses in DFW. Do you know how big DFW is? We want you to be a little more specific than that. I do some wholesaling. I don't do a lot of it, but I do some wholesaling. So if someone tells me I'm looking for a property in this specific zip code, I have a buyer that's looking for properties in Mesquite, and he has a specific zip code. So anytime I get that specific zip code that comes into my email, or one of my attendees calls me and says, hey, I have a property I need to unload, I send it straight to him, because number one, I know that he's going to buy. Number two, he's very specific. He'll buy anything in that zip code that he can get at 70% minus the ARV. So that's just what we do. You have to know what you're looking for. I love little 2-bedroom, 1-baths. I love them. That's just my preference. A little 2-bedroom, 1-bath under 1,000 square feet, level. Because I can get them flipped and get a family in there with Section 8 super fast. There's always a waiting list, but that's my criteria. So everyone has to, Stacey, I will get that for you in just a moment. But everyone has their own criteria. But you do have to know what your criteria is in order to be successful in what you're looking for. Kind of like us sending you guys out on Christmas to get us that perfect gift, and you have no idea what we want. Same thing. You got to give us put it in a little box, wrap it with a bow, say, honey, this is what I want. And y'all go get it. And that's what I got.
All right.
All right. So let's see who's next up. Let's go to slide number 2. Please see and Eric.
Yes.
You're on.
Thanks. For those of you who may or may not know Yogi Berra, he was very famous with his work with the New York Yankees, and he has many, many wise sayings. And one of them, you can look them up. They are great reading material. They put a smile on your face, just like the one on his. And one that is very relevant to tonight's discussion that he came up with is, if you don't know where you are going, you might end up someplace else. And that someplace else is not always where you wanted to be, or a nice place at all. So I used to think, well, I'll just, see what happens. I'll just be a a passenger on a raft in the river of life and see where it takes me. And I've discovered that that's fun for a vacation, but not as a mode of transportation. If you don't know where you're going, I'd even change it to you will wind up someplace else. The way Karen was describing her criteria, if you know the section of town, a lot of people will feel more comfortable working in a section of town that they're familiar with. And I highly recommend that as a great place to start. Just driving your own neighborhood, looking at houses that, you know, that yard is really tall. I hardly ever see any lights on that. There's a couple of, and true story, there's a couple of houses in my neighborhood that did not put up Christmas lights, and I'm wondering, I need to look that up on the tax sheets and see what's going on with this. Knock on the next door neighbors, see if they know what's going on with their neighbor. If you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. Don't just be a raft in the river of life. You've got to set out. I want to go from here, this street, to this street, and from this avenue to this avenue. I will get to know this section really well and focus on that. Roger asked me if I was interested in a certain property that was outside of his driving range. He likes to do it in this area over here, and the house was in this area over here, which happened to be close to me. And sure enough, it turned into a really great rental for me. So set out your criteria. What kind of house? Maybe it's a mobile home park. Maybe it's apartments. Maybe it's a duplex. But get familiar with it. Like, I hadn't even really thought about 2-bed, 1-baths until I met Karen. I always thought 3-bedroom, really.
3-2-2s. Those are the
3-2-2.
Everybody.
That's what I hear everywhere. But the 2-bed, 1-bath makes a lot of sense. And the more I have found out about Section 8 and about other opportunities, it makes a lot of sense. So
I agree.
Make sure you know where you're going, or you will definitely wind up someplace else.
And I want to add something to that, Eric.
Sure.
Once you identify your farm area, that's what we call it, your farm area and your
right.
area, make sure you tell people. Because if you tell me, hey, I really want a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Grand Prairie, Texas. If I see one that comes across that's out of my farm area, I will definitely think in my Rolodex, and I remember pretty much everything. I'm like, oh, Eric's looking for 2-bedroom, 1-baths in Grand Prairie. I will send this to Eric, and I'll send it to you first.
Yeah. That's what the whole networking aspect of, even if you're not an IMT, if you just come to the REI meetings,
Absolutely.
come to the Real Impact meetings, start finding who does what where, and let people know where you want to be looking. That's a great way to wind up where you want to be.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Tim. CJ, can you go on to slide 3, please? Tim, you're on.
All right. So we've already hit on why it's important to set up the criteria. I would just like to reiterate something that Roger said at the opening. I'm a realtor, and I was an investor first, and so I've always tried to be an investor-friendly realtor. And so I get a lot of people that are wanting to buy properties as investments. And they give me that answer. It's like, okay, well, can you tell me what you're looking for? I'm looking for a great deal. And it's like, okay, let me put that in the search criteria of the MLS. Oh, here's 20 that say they're great deals. It just doesn't work that way. So there was one lady that was her first investment property. It was a $600,000 listing, and she thought if she put in a pool, it would be worth 1.2 million, and she could flip it. And He didn't have a lot of reserves, so I was like, do you know what the holding cost is going to be on a $600,000 house mortgage plus utilities plus the insurance every single month? Do you have that? No, I don't have that much money. But it's a great deal. All I have to do is just a little cosmetic stuff and put in a pool, and I'll sell it for 1.2 million, and I'll double my money. I'm like, how many $1.2 million houses are selling like in a month or less, you know? And so she obviously did not know her criteria or her market very well, because I have yet to see a property that you can add a pool and double the value. I'm not saying there's not one out there, but I haven't seen one.
I know of houses that you can buy that don't have a pool that are not of the same value, because the house, all the surrounding areas have pools and yours doesn't. And
Exactly. But
we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, like how to hone in on your ARV, like really make it accurate. I know Pam and I were talking about it recently, or Pam was talking to us about that recently, about like you have to be able to pull comps the right way. You got to compare apples to apples. And I probably wouldn't advise, especially on a very first flip, buying a $600,000 property, putting in a pool to double your money. I can't imagine the holding cost on that. So
yeah, well, pools typically they cost more than they actually add in value to the property. There are some neighborhoods that a pool is definitely a plus, and there's other areas where it really doesn't matter at all. So and that goes to knowing the market. And if you focus on a certain zip code or a certain neighborhood or a group of neighborhoods, then it's going to really help you to know your market, so that when a deal comes along and there's a new for sale by owner or a new listing, and you see the price is definitely lower, and then if it's an area that you've been focusing on, then it's going to help you to be able to quickly identify that.
And therefore take action faster, right?
Yes, exactly. So you won't have to be doing as many steps on analysis, because if you do comps for one neighborhood, those comps are not going to change very much in a couple days, or slowing down this. The market's slowing down now, so comps in a neighborhood might be good for a couple weeks. You don't have to go back. If you do comps for 123 Main Street, and then 256 Main Street comes up, then you might not even have to run new comps, and you can be able to evaluate the and put in your offer even quicker.
That's perfect. Yeah.
And
I was thinking about you with the exit strategies. I know that you and I and Dobby have all talked about that, about knowing the importance of knowing your exit strategy before you buy.
Right.
Well, you need to know your exit strategy before you even
make your offer.
Right.
Well, not only make your offer, so you even know how to evaluate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we always recommend that, and I always try to have multiple exit strategies available. So so my goal might be to flip, or my goal might be to hold for a long-term rental. And that may be the primary exit strategy, but I'll always have one or two others that I can use. And certain exit strategies, are going to work better in different areas than others. When I started as a real estate agent, my market had 11 months of inventory.
Wow.
Yeah. And so last, 4, 5, 6 years, we've had 1 or 2 months of inventory. So that's a completely different market. So if you're trying to flip a property in 11 months of inventory, then And if that's your primary exit strategy, then you need to be prepared to hold and have reserves for the holding costs, because if the average house takes 11 months to sell, you know, and then don't expect to sell it in 2 weeks at full market value, and, and so, the market conditions have a lot to do with the exit strategies, and as well as the neighborhood. There's some neighborhoods that have a whole lot of rentals, and some neighborhoods have very few. And so if you're trying to flip a house in an owner occupant in a neighborhood that has a whole bunch of rentals, then it might not go as quickly as a comparable house in a neighborhood that is 80% owner occupied. And
Good
so
point.
and so all those are important to know in order to figure out your primary exit strategy. But we always recommend having a backup, just in case, if my primary exit strategy is to flip, and all of a sudden interest rates go up from 3% to 6.5% in 4 weeks, which has never happened before. But
When would
just
that ever
because it
happen?
did, yeah, like March of last year. And if that happens, and all of a sudden somebody pulls the emergency brake on the market, and my only exit strategy was to flip to a retail buyer, and all of a sudden all the retail buyers dry up, then I can get in trouble. So anyway, that's a little bit about knowing the market and the exit strategies. And then from there, once we know our goals, we figure out our numbers, then we figure out how many houses we want to see, tweak, and construct our offers in a lot more intelligent way, and be able to present offers that get accepted.
There you go. Thank you so much, team. We appreciate that. All very important points. Okay, CJ, next slide, please. Miss Pam, what can you tell us about setting goals and criteria?
Area, property type, and property size. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First of all, before we get real deep into or talking about this, I think one thing that we haven't, what is the word criteria? The word, criteria means when you're doing this, you are defining and evaluating the principle of what you're going to do, whether that is wholesaling, buy and hold, fix and flip. So you need to understand what criteria is. Is criteria brick? Is it siding? Is it brick and siding? And then, those are other parts besides just the 322, garage, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and so forth. So you need to understand what setting up your criteria, what the word actually means, whatever you're getting ready to do. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's, I'm a real estate broker. Yes, I get asked all the time, just like Roger and Tim, I need you to find me this. Well, what do you want me to find? And if you're in the long haul, and you plan on being a wholesaler, I will tell you that I've been, I jumped into this fix and flip, and I've been doing that since 2014. And to this day, I can count on one hand how many properties I have bought from a wholesaler. So we started doing this, setting up, as a real estate agent, talking about farming your area. And I tell new people, what does that mean? What does farming your area mean? It means picking out an area that you can set your boundaries and goals that you can become very familiar with to market that area. this is really interesting when it's especially talking to wholesalers, because they're like, Pam, what's your criteria? I want to work with you. What's your criteria? The correct word, it should be, what is it that you're looking for so you can make money? That's what you should be asking me, not what is your criteria. I can be like everybody else. I'm looking for a 322 in the Quail Hollow subdivision in Watauga. Well, where does that really mean? Okay. Will I buy burn houses? It's really about numbers. Where are your numbers? So if you're setting up your farm area and you're going to try to find me, you're a wholesaler, and you want to try to find me a property in that farm area, you need to know my numbers. What is my number? And you actually need to sit down with that person and have a conversation with them to figure that number out. I finally had a guy from California call me, and we had a 45-minute conversation. It's the first time in 6 years I've actually had someone to sit down and say, well, let's discuss your criteria, what you're looking for. Because all of us that buy property, we fix and flip, buy and hold, it comes down to the number. My number is different than Karen's number.
Yes.
My number, is different than Tim's. You need to find out, and that's how you start evaluating and defining where you really need to be. Okay. So talking about a farm area. Well, do you really want to, if you live in Arlington and I'm telling you that I buy, the Northeast Tarrant County, is it really going to be worth your time to go? If you're doing drive-bys, you're going to drive all the way over there and start farming that area unless you do it virtually. So, you really have to understand who you're representing. And even if you're representing yourself and you're looking for yourself, you really need to ask yourself, where am I in this process? What am I wanting to define? What do I really want to do to help people, or whether it's myself? And the reason why I'm mentioning this, because I'm sitting here going, we teach, wholesaling, and I'm going, I don't even really buy from wholesalers. And I started evaluating why. And it's because nobody wants to sit down and understand your numbers. Okay. I may be happy with receiving $200 a month mailbox money. That may not fit Tim. He wants $500 a month. There's a big difference there. So before you're talking about farming and setting up a property type, okay, do you want a brick? Well, if I'm going to be in this area, majority of the properties are brick. Yes, I want an all brick, house. Well, if it's mixed, okay, I prefer this because of maintenance. This is the reason why you need to get in a conversation with either yourself or the person that you're wanting to wholesale to or flip it with. And I think this is one reason why the last 2 years, even we as flippers, it didn't matter. Okay, so I didn't get to make $100,000 on this flip. I only made 85. Well, like Tim said, we're in a changing market, and it's going to be harder to find those properties. And the wholesalers, if you were new and beginning 2.5 years ago, you were just doing it by the seat of your pants, you better know your criteria, and you better know who you're representing and how you can give, whether you're going to keep it for yourself or, send it to me. So I don't know if that really talked about the topic that, but, setting up the age of a property. Well, some people, I know a lot of people that won't buy anything under 1970. Me, depends on where it's at. If it's over, by TCU, those properties are old. Some of them still have cast iron pipe. It's all about, I'll buy it, but it doesn't mean Eric's going to buy it. So you can't just sit here and go, okay, I'm going to go out and find Karen a 322, or she said she's fine with the 2-bedroom. She told you that, but you didn't get everything what Karen wanted.
Or where.
you know, does Karen want to, what is her number? I think we're missing a point. What is the number that Karen's looking for? If she's looking for a buy hold, is she going to be satisfied with a 1%, or if she's fixing and flipping, will she be happy just making a $5,000 profit? Or, I mean, so you really have to know what the number is, and you have to really understand what criteria actually means. And criteria is defining and evaluating what either you want or the person you're helping find that property.
All good points. Good job, Pam. Thank you so much. Okay. CJ, next slide, please. Oh, I want to go ahead and we have a comment on YouTube. I'm going to butcher this name, but Pasalina. Yes, I remember talking to you last week online, and my number, if you want to make sure you write this down, I tried to put it in the chat, but I don't think that YouTube will let me put my phone number in the chat. My number is 903-445-6023. There we go. There's my number, and there's my email. And I will make sure that you get in touch with Tim and Gabi Lockhart in our Wichita Falls location. So, and they will look forward to joining you. Tim, when's your next meeting in person in Wichita Falls?
It's going to be next weekend on Saturday at 9:30 a.m. at the Wichita Falls Country Club.
Oh,
And that's
awesome.
on the 21st.
January
Yes.
21st.
Yes, January 21st. Yes.
All right, cool. At the Wichita Falls Country Club at 9:30 a.m. or 9?
At 9:30.
9:30 a.m. at the Wichita Falls Country Club next Saturday, the 21st. All right, thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Doug from Longview, you're on.
Yeah. Well, so we're talking about criteria, and Pam's exactly right. So, I mean, everybody's going to have.
I'm right.
Oh, you're always right, sweetheart. Always right. So now listen.
Because I'm
I only wanted
because you're
$500 a
female.
month. I
It
want
doesn't
$1 million a
matter.
month.
You're right. Okay, I'm wrong. But so the criteria, I have my own criteria, mainly because I'm kind of a hands-on person here. I know for a fact that a slab built in 81 should have PVC drainage pipe. Should have. Okay. Because in 81, I was shoveling wet sand in the back of a dump truck for my grandfather, who poured septic tank tiles and ran field lines and water lines. So I know that it should be PVC. But when a builder has yards of cast iron on his yard, when he has all this cast iron, they're not going to stop using that just to use PVC. So even properties built after 81 are going to have cast iron in the ground, which scares a lot of people. I know it's not a big deal if it's pier and beam. So, get over that. But there's an easy way you can tell. Climb up in the attic, see what's going through the roof. Okay, just make sure you go down far enough. Another thing is, I do like pier and beam because they're easy to work on. I can move bathrooms around and so on and so forth. But how about a brick clad pier and beam? Do you know that brick homes are cheaper to insure than wood siding, right? So that's another reason. But there's all kinds of reasons. It really matters what you want, okay? Mm-hmm. And how many are you looking to have in a year? I'm not all about that. I'm not doing 3 deals a month. I'm not doing it like that. I'm finding deals. And the first deal I ever did, I was the handyman, and I didn't have any clue about what all this was. Matter of fact, I was really in the dark. The criteria didn't have anything to do with it when I did that first deal, because The guy said that he wasn't going to do it and that I should do it and that he could get me the money. So I did it and I made money and I wanted to do another one. That first house was 770 square feet, 2-1, Karen.
Wow.
And yeah, I bought it for $23,000 in 06. That house to this day, well, I love that deal. I sold it immediately because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. But I've never paid more for a house. I've never paid more than $23,000. Even the the 3-2 brick we bought in Henderson, that was sub 2. We paid the closing costs, and we were out of there with less than 20,000 in the rehab. So I'm telling you, you just have to know what you want and what speed you'd have to know your gate. Okay, you have a certain desire to go out and do things. If it's to make a lot of money, you need to do a bunch of them. You need to do everything. What's your exit strategy? And we've already talked about that you probably need to know what your exit strategy is going to be before you even start looking, because that's going to determine what you need. I have a realtor that sends me deals, and I've upped the ante. I used to have him send me everything that was less than 60,000. So he sent me one that was in Kilgore and a really great rent district, which I was interested in, and they wanted 44. And I told him, offer 22. He said, oh, I'm not going to offer 20. Well, you know what? You have to do that because I told you to. They took 23. So again, I didn't spend more than 23 on the purchase. Now I spent more on the rehab at that time. What do you want to do with it? Do you want to wholesale? I don't want to wholesale. I'll do it if I find a property like I'm talking about for a really great deal that's not in the area I want to be in. I'll wholesale it, especially if they want full price. So if they think that the house is worth 120, they want 120, they're not going to take any less. I'll say, okay, I want to get a contract. I'm going to get an options contract for 120. I'm going to try to find somebody to buy it for 130. I'm just going to try it because the options contract doesn't hold me to anything. Fix and flip. I've done that. I would rather fix and keep, at least for a couple of years. I do a lot of burrs. And then I have rentals, and we're talking about cash flow. For a long time, everything that I own cash flowed 500. So I was really happy with that. But now, since Airbnb came online, I'm cash flowing anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a month. So, and everything I have is 2-1 or 1-1, everything.
Okay.
Well, now I'm going to build a tree house, 1-1. That's it. And it's going to be even better. So
You're going to be selling the experience.
Yep, exactly.
Sleep in the tree house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about doing that, or I am thinking about doing that with my Gladewater property that hasn't sold. I realized it was downtown Gladewater, and it's the perfect location for an Airbnb. So I just got to run it by the lender and see if we can get it refinanced, and that might be what I do with that. So super excited about it.
You can try it for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going to hurt? You can turn around and
what's it going to hurt? Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Perfect. All right,
Well,
Eric, did you raise your hand, or were you just agree?
Oh.
Okay. Hey, Roger, you haven't had much to say tonight. Do you want to chime in on any of this?
Well, like I said earlier, it's just you have to have a plan in this business, and there's so many people that go into businesses, not only the real estate investing business, but other businesses too, that has no plan. And I've told the story before, but there's the people that are just the anomaly out there that are just doing crazy amounts of business and whatever business that are in, You know, that can be Jeff Bezos, that can be Bill Gates, that can be the guy around the corner that's buying, 50 houses a year. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. They put it together. Um, Linda Jean got in the real estate business before I did. She worked out a business plan. We kind of worked out it together. And she came into that business with a plan, never had done real estate in her life. And at the end of 8 weeks, she had 10 properties under contract, either buyers or sellers listings. And she'd already closed 3 properties at the end of 8 weeks. And that was the anomaly of the office, over 250 people in that real estate office. And nobody did any of that. So she was looking at what people were doing and essentially doing the opposite. And pardon me, but you've got to have a plan in place. You've got to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. And if you need that help, that's what we do. Everybody on this call, we're very good at coaching people and telling all of you how we make this happen, how to make this process work for you, and pushing you and making sure you get things done you need to get done. So everybody on this call has been super tonight. You've got to set up your criteria. You've got to have your goals in place. You got to know where you're going. Like Eric said at the beginning of the call with Yogi Berra, if you don't know where you're going, you just might wind up getting there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, how that was worded.
Something like that.
If you don't know where you're
You'll
going,
end
you
up
might wind
someplace else.
You'll end up
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that used to be in this business, and you can talk to them, and pretty much you're going to find out they did not have anything set up. They didn't know what the criteria was or anything else. I had a guy a year ago that I tried to convince to put his property into a rental, and he says, I'm never going to do anything like that again. I lost 30 houses in the subprime days. And I thought, how do you lose 30 houses in subprime? He bought them all with hard money, and he had no plan to have them refinanced, and the market tanked.
Oh, no.
So he had 30 houses out there, hard money lending, short-term loans, high interest rates, with no plan on how to get them refinanced. And that's how you lose 30 houses in this business. So if you have a plan in place, if he would have had all that done and went ahead and got those with a long-term loan, he probably would have still owned most of those properties today.
That's critical. Is critical. So with my experience, I started with wholesaling. Had no idea what I was doing. I started with wholesaling, and by learning to buy at wholesale prices, I was able to make those 3 offers. That was my cash offer, my cash in terms, and my all terms. Therefore, I could keep all my terms offers. If they took my terms offer, I was keeping it. But I bought them all based on the right numbers. So if they met my numbers, that's all that mattered. If I wanted the property bad enough and they took my cash offer and I had the cash, then I would buy that property with cash. But it really goes off of, like Tim was saying earlier, knowing your market, knowing your area. I knew that area so very well that I knew if a property came to me at 40 cents on the dollar, I was making an offer on that property. I was getting that property. And depending on which offer they took, depended on the exit strategy for me. So, different strokes for different folks, but we all, like, the ones I want to hold are the ones that make sense to me. And like Pam said, her criteria is different than my criteria, which is different than Tim's and yours and Eric's and Doug and Renee's. I don't want to make 1%. I want to make 50%. So, I mean, it just, I want to make enough rent. I don't want to barely make it by. I had someone I was talking to a few months ago. They said, I want to make $100 a month off every property. And I said, is that all? And he said, I thought that was typical. And I said, I mean, I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't want to make just $100 a month, but it just depends on your criteria. And I have a meeting with someone on Tuesday to talk about coaching that was saying, if I can make $100 a month on the property, I'm good. And I'm like, well, what if we could make you more than that? What if you could make more than that? I don't want you to, I don't want $100 a month per property to be your goal. Like, you would settle for that, but let's adjust it. Let's just make it a little bit better. I want you to make as much as you can, because you're always going to have those, those months that the tenant moves out or the air conditioner goes out. There always can be something that happens. So,
That's right.
you know,
Absolutely. Hey, Karen,
uh-huh.
don't you have something coming up?
I do. I think I want to get to Pam's question real quick, though. She had something. Pam, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's the reason why it's important to know that what your criteria is, because, like you said, only making $100, a month may be okay, because there may be equity in that property.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so at this point it may be okay. So, like I said, there's more to it than just, and that's the reason why it's so important that you get with someone and you learn the different techniques and you learn, all the different options that are out there. Because I have a property right now that we're only making $100 a month, but I have $50,000 equity in it.
There you go. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. So
Tell us what you got coming.
We do have an
It's
expo.
exciting.
Real Impact is having an expo in March. And what we're doing is we're basically bringing together our referrals, our businesses and services that so many of us rely on in our day-to-day businesses, from our title companies to our real estate attorneys to our inspectors to our appraisers to the surveyors, the contractors, the people that we use to pull comps with. Like, there are so many different aspects of running your real estate investing business. And sometimes, frankly, we just don't want to do it ourselves. We want to pay someone to do it. Or you're paying for a service that you do or don't use. So we are putting together an expo, or it's not putting together. We've already put together an expo, and it's going to be on March the 3rd and the 4th of 2023. And it's $197 to attend. It's going to be on a Friday evening and then all day on Saturday. And we have a bunch of guest speakers. We're going to have several presenter sponsors that are going to be there to tell you why they need to be on your team. And you want to be there. You want to be there to network with the other investors and to network with all of these businesses and services that are so vital, very, very vital to our real estate investing businesses. And one thing that I say all the time is, you might not need that person now, but at some point you're going to call me and say, hey, Karen, what insurance company will help me insure a subject to property? Or, hey, Karen, what surveyor can get to me like immediately? What title company can help me close a subject to deal? These are all important things that we pay attention to. If I don't need someone's services right now, I still make a note of what they do and keep them in my Rolodex, in my CRM, so that I can find them quickly. If somebody calls me and says, hey, Karen, who's the surveyor in East Texas that can get me a survey? I'm like, okay, I've got a couple numbers. Let me send them to you. And then I leave it up to them to call them and see what they can work out. I'm not guaranteeing that anybody can get to a survey immediately. Sometimes you pay a lot of money for that. But anyway, so I would like to say that each of our groups has our own discount code, a promo code. So if you're in one of our groups, please reach out to your group leader and get your promo code. Let's see what we have over here. Oh, thank you very much, CJ. CJ actually threw that link in the chat. If any of you wants to go ahead and take advantage of the early bird special, that $100 promo is only going to last until January 31st. And since we're all on here now, I will go ahead. We'll go ahead and put them out there. So if you're with the Plano group, my group is Real Impact Plano, and my code is Plano. How simple is that? Rogers is Roger, Roger. How simple is that? Pam's is Pam. Tim's is a little more difficult because Tim has two groups. So Tim has Wichita and Denton. That's the promo code. You just click on the link and put the promo code in, and that will give you your discount, your $100 discount. And Eric's in Grand Prairie is grand, like 100 grand. And then if you're in Doug and Renee's group over in Longview, their code is Longview. So that special goes on until January 31st. And this is going to be held in the Metroplex between Dallas and Fort Worth. And we definitely hope that you guys will take advantage of this. And we have a lot of great sponsors that are going to be coming to talk with y'all about why they should be on your team. That's it.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Next week's call, we're going to be talking about building your business credit. So that is always a fun call. That is always fun to look at. People in this business, you're going to make it when you know how to build your business credit. Okay. Don't think because, oh my gosh, I've never done a business loan. I've never done anything like this. I can't get business credit. They're in business to loan money. They don't make any money if they don't loan you money, and they're loaning money on the property, not necessarily all the times on you. They're looking to see if you're responsible, but then they're looking to see where's the property at, what's the risk, and where we stand in the property. So next week, building business credit. Look forward to seeing you Sunday nights at 7:00. Look for the YouTube link. We're having some challenges being getting the chat to connect to us on Facebook. So try to look out, register, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make this happen for you. So we will see you next week. Everybody, thank you so much for being on this call tonight. This has been a great call. Y'all got some incredible feedback, incredible knowledge out there. So good night to all, and be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, all.
See you.
Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject twos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales, working to build your construction team, and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.